In this Path of Exile 2 video, guys, I'm going to be going over the Mercenary class, and this video is specifically for those people that chose the Mercenary class and struggling a little bit on how to figure out how his mechanic works, or if you just want some quick tips on how to level him up properly, then stick around and find out. Now, the Mercenary has a pretty unique playstyle, so what he does is you'll have a crossbow, and he's got a mixture of ammo skills or like grenade skills. So for ammo skills, you'll have to load them into your crossbow and then you fire them at the enemy, but it does require some reloads. So right here I'm using the permafrost bolts and it does require a reload, but I do have a unique crossbow here, so it wouldn't fire this fast, but this would have just maybe one round, or you can use the fragmentation rounds, which usually shoot one or two bolts before you have to reload, or you have your standard just piercing bolt that you can just fire off at enemies. It's the first skill that you get when you pick up a crossbow, but every time you run out of ammo, you'll have to reload. Now, sometimes you can get caught up in enemies attacking you, and you can get interrupted while reloading, so that's something that you want to keep in mind. So I will say that class will require some skill to use, especially a lot of dodging and trying to get distance away from your enemies. Now, the Mercenary's passive skill tree starts at the very bottom of the passive skill tree, and just like all the other guides that I have put out, I would always start with damage. Once you start getting some better gear, then start focusing on the utility side, which is more evasion, more armor, and stuff like that. Then you'll have more projectile speed. Then it branches off to a number of things where you can get more grenade damage, or if you want more two-handed damage, which does count for your crossbow. So if you want to go more crossbow bolts, then go for those as well. But I would say starting off, go with this damage, projectile damage, then focus on utility. Now, when it comes to the early game skills for the Mercenary, the one that I liked using very much is called the Explosive Grenade. This was one of the first skills that I unlocked while playing the Mercenary. Now, at first, you will shoot them, and I thought that you would take damage from the grenades, but as you shoot the grenades, you can actually run right through enemies and actually roll through your grenades, and they'll do damage to the enemies and not you. So just keep that in mind when you're doing the grenades. So don't be afraid to pop your grenades, run through a horde of enemies, and then just have the grenades absolutely do devastating damage to big groups of enemies. Especially because you can get a support gem that allows you to shoot 3 grenades to cover a much wider radius. Now, when you're playing the Mercenary, one of the things that you want to focus on, especially in early game, is do you want to focus on the ammo mods or do you want to focus on grenades? Especially when you get into later games, like mid-game to end-game, you want to focus on one or two because each one will complement the other, but it's not bad to test them out either or. Which brings me to my next early game skill, which is called the Permafrost Bolts. As you can see here in the background gameplay, I do freeze this boss. This is a great skill to use for bosses because you can chill them and also slow them. But you can also, of course, freeze them to stop them in place to do some devastating damage. So once you freeze them, you can just like pop a bunch of grenades, which is what I like doing. But this also works for groups of enemies, just slowing them and then pop your grenades to take out the group of enemies. So this is a very good skill to pair with the grenade skill. Now, another very good early skill to use, which brings me to the Flash Grenade. Now, this one can cause some stun buildup, so you have a chance to stun enemies with this ability, and then you can also blind enemies, so kind of just puts them in place, dazes them a little bit, and then again sets you up for, again, a huge splash damage when it comes to the Explosive Grenade. So like I said, when it comes to the Mercenary, the grenade setup is my personal favorite, but again, that's just my opinion. You can also go with the other bolt options. There's other ones such as the fragmentation rounds, or there's also incendiary rounds that you can use for the crossbow. Now, the primary stat that is focused on the Mercenary is both strength and dexterity. So strength will give you more health, and dexterity, of course, gives you that evasion rating. But that is what is required for most of the skills that are required for the Mercenary is strength and dexterity. So it's a nice You know, it might be slow at first trying to get used to the mechanics of this, but you'll have more health than most other classes because this is a mix of both strength and dex. So it's a neat thing. So I think it's a nice slow start at first, but it can become a pretty powerful class once you get further into the game and have more time with it. Now, when it comes to the equipment for the mercenary class, you want to focus on armors that have both armor rating and evasion rating. So that is what is required for both strength and dex, is armor and evasion rating. So also, when it comes to the modifiers that you want to focus on is anything with maximum life, maximum mana, points in the strength or dex, or of course even more armor or even more evasion rating will greatly help you out when you are starting off with the mercenary. Now, I wanted to put a couple tips out when it comes to the ascendancies for mercenary. The first one you'll have is Witch Hunter, and then there's Gemling Legionnaire. Now, in my opinion, I feel like Witch Hunter is a little bit more advanced when it comes to the skills, because it's basically you get these extra skill points that you can use for weapon skill points, and then you have to assign them to a certain weapon. So if you know what you're doing, then the Witch Hunter is not that bad, but I feel like the Gemling Legionnaire is a little bit more, I would say, new mercenary friendly. Just gives you a bunch of buffs and also gives you some more passive skill slots and allows you to have double passives on certain skills. So I feel like the Gemling Legionnaire is just an overall good pick for new mercenaries. And then if you know what you're doing, or if you have a little bit of an advanced build, then I would go and try out the Witch Hunter. So just a quick little tip when you are choosing your ascendancies later on in the game. And there you have it, guys. That pretty much wraps up my mercenary leveling guide. And again, this guide and this video were just intended for those people that are just starting off with mercenary, just need a little bit of guidance when it comes to how to play the class and how to level them up properly. This wasn't an advanced guide whatsoever, so, you know, once I get later on into the game and also, you know, get some better gear, I might make some intermediate guides on what to focus on and stuff like that. But until that time comes, this video is just solely focused on those new mercenaries out there just looking for a little bit of help. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I got more guides coming soon. I think I have 2 more classes to cover, and then we'll be going into some more intermediate and or builds once we you know, get further into Act 2 and or Act 3. So if you guys want to see those videos, make sure to hit that bell icon so that way YouTube can notify you guys every time our videos go live. Make sure to check out the links in the description if you want to join our Discord and become a member of the channel. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces.